Carole Malone, I think this will cause shockwaves through the wet parts of the Tory party who think we cannot question net zero, we cannot question it. But Lee is right, isn't he?
He's completely right. And, you know, if we've questioned it in the past, it's because that you don't care about the planet, you don't want to save the planet. But Lee Anderson is absolutely right. And I think he's going to be the Tory secret weapon, actually, because he's talking a language that most working-class people
Benjamin
understand.
just scoffed.
Well, he can scoff, but, you know, but when you have people like Lord Nicholas Stern, who's as rich as I know he said a bad word there. I know he said as rich as something. Rich as him, and he's talking about people have to just find an extra bit of money, tax a little bit more. Well, that's easy for him to say, because working class people can't afford anymore. Well, you know, and what Lee Anderson said, you know, when you're on the doorstep and you're talking to real people, net zero never comes up. What comes up is, how do I pay my bills? I can't pay my gas bill. I can't pay my electricity bill. We haven't got enough food. And that's what bothers people. And that doesn't mean to say those people don't care about the planet. It doesn't mean they don't care about the oceans. They do, but they're... And the other thing, I think, which hacks people off, he touched on it there, Lee, he said, you know, when you see celebrities flying around in planes, they're doing the total opposite of what they're telling us to do.
And by the way, I think net zero will probably start coming up on the doorstep, Carole, when people think they're not going to be able to drive their cars anymore, or they're not going to be taking so many flights on holiday. But,
you know, working class people can't afford electric cars at 50 grand. They can't afford 14,000 quid for a boiler, for an eco boiler.
Of course not.
So it's only people like Lord Stern and the elites who can afford that.
So Benjamin, you didn't just roll your eyes there. You actually snorted.
He needs to be careful because he's not that far away from me.
Yeah, snorted with derision at Lee Anderson. And did you know what? I'm actually glad that you did, because I spoke about this on the show last week.
I saw.
And by you, I'm talking about the left here, the liberal left. Your hatred and your derision of Lee Anderson represents, I believe, how you feel about the working classes of Great Britain.
I mean, I find it hysterical. Most people don't have the faintest clue who Lee Anderson is.
Yeah, they do.
Really?
That's tosh.
Really?
They really don't.
That's absolute tosh.
The idea that he's the people's hero is just nonsense. But you know what? Like, the thing about Lee Anderson is that he professes the politics of division. What he can do is he can point to a problem and he shouts, "Isn't it disgraceful? I hate it. Someone should do something about it." But he's got no answers. I mean, tell me, Dan.
He's got many answers. You obviously haven't been watching his weekly segment, The Real World with Lee Anderson, Wednesday nights here on GBNews, Dan, because he comes up with solutions every week. Unfortunately, it's that Rishi Sunak hasn't had the balls to implement many of the solutions. For example, leaving the ECHR to stop the boats. There's one of the solutions right there. I mean, in the deranged mark to net zero, there's another solution right there.
I'm not saying I'm single, but I regret to admit I have been watching those segments every Wednesday. But look, you know, I would say to you, first of all, you sit here on this channel screaming every week, why won't they listen to Boris's manifesto? Well, Boris Johnson's manifesto said net zero by 2050.
But that wasn't
Why
put
won't
there
you
by
listen
the people.
To it, Dan?
That wasn't the people didn't petition or push for the Conservative Party to put that in the
No, answer that.
Well, I'll answer the question. I think net zero was slipped in as some sort of little backdoor.
So you think
don't worry. Yeah. You don't need to know about this now. You don't need to know about this. By the way, it's actually Theresa May pledge, and I think it will go down in history as a very bad one. And I disagree with Boris Johnson on net zero. And I'm allowed...
But it's in the manifesto and they voted for it. And if you're saying, they didn't understand, don't you sound like a Remainer?
Do you know what?
You sound like a proper Remainer from a few years ago.
Look at
those silly masses. They can't understand that zero. That's what you're saying.
Do you know middle-class lefties like Ben, you know, they're always moaning that there aren't enough working-class people in politics. And then when we get one who actually talks the languages of people, you scoff at him, you say he's an imbecile, you say he's an idiot.
I didn't say any of that.
No, but I'm you know who said the other week? James O'Brien said he was stupid and ignorant. People are calling an imbecile, they're calling him a Rottweiler. This guy has more to say to working-class people than anyone I know ever will.
Tell me, what has he done for the people of Ashfield?
What do you mean, what has he done? What a stupid,
you're saying he's got answers.
What a stupid question. This is a guy... I mean, specifically what he's actually... What has he done? What he's done every week. Don't be stupid, Ben. We're talking about...
Well, we have the highest taxes,
he has
the lowest
He's been
roads.
elected
He
by the
voted
people.
for all of the problems we have.